Pravikadacharya Shrotar Shrita Shri Srimad, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki, Srimad Bhagavatam Ki, Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Okay. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 1, Text 18. Okay. Chapter entitled Questions by Vidura. So okay, there we go. Okay. So word for word. So Prudeshu, Punya, Upavana, Adri, Kunjesu, Apanka, Toyeshu, Sharit, Sarasu, Ananta, Lingai, Samalankriteshu, Chachara, Tirtha, Ayantaneshu, Ananyaha. Okay. Pureshu punyo pavad, Pureshu punyo pavad nadri kunjresh. Anpankato yeshu sarit sharashu. Anantalingai samalankriteshu. Chachara tirthayataneshvananyaya. Pureshu punyo pavanadri kunjas. Apanka to yeshu sarit sahasru. Anantalingai samalankriteshu. Chachara tirthayataneshvananyaya. Pureshu punyo pavanadri kunjas. Apankato yeshu sarashu. Anantalingai samalankriteshu. Sachara tirthayataneshvananyah.
Pureshu punyo pavanadri kunjeshu. Apankato yeshu sarit sarasu. Anantalingai samalamkriteshu. Chachara tirthayataneshvananya.
Anybody else? No, I didn't know. All right, we'll do the word for word. Pureshu. Holy places like Ayodhya, Dwarka, and Mathura.
Holy places like Ayodhya, Dwarka, and Mathura.
Punya,
Punya,
piety.
piety.
Upavana,
Upavana,
the air.
the group.
Okay. Adri, hill. Kunjeshu, in the orchards. Apanka, without sin. Tuyeshu, in the water. Sharit, river. Sharasu, lakes. Anantalingai,
Anantalingai,
the forms of the unlimited.
forms of the unlimited.
Samalankriteshu,
Samalamkriteshu,
being so decorated.
being so decorated.
Chachara,
Chara,
executed.
executed.
Tirtha,
Tirtha,
places of pilgrimage.
places of pilgrimage.
Ayantaneshu,
Ayataneshu,
holy lands. Ananyaha,
Ananya,
alone or seeing Krishna alone.
alone or seeing Krishna alone.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki.
Jai!
He began to travel alone, thinking only of Krishna, through various holy places like Ayodhya, Dwarka, and Mathura. He traveled where the air, hill, orchard, rivers, and lakes are all pure and sinless, and where the forms of the unlimited decorate the temples. Thus he performed the pilgrim's progress. These archer forms of the Lord may be considered idols by the atheists, but that does not matter for persons like Vidura or his many other servants. The forms of the Lord are mentioned here as Anantalinga. Such forms of the Lord have unlimited potency, the same as that of the Lord himself. There is no difference between the potencies of the archa and those of the personal forms of the Lord. The example of the post box and post office may be applied here. The little post boxes distributed all over the city have the same potency as the postal system in general. The duty of the post office is to carry letters from one place to another. If one puts letters in the post boxes authorized by the General Post Office, the function of carrying letters is performed without a doubt. Similarly, the Archa Murti can also deliver the same unlimited potency of the Lord as when he is personally present. Vidura, therefore, could see nothing but Krishna in the different Archa forms, and ultimately he was able to realize Krishna alone and nothing else. Om Jnana-timanandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chaksuramatamyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Shtapitam Yena Bhuttale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tatatsi Swapanantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shiyukta Palakamanam Shri Guru Vaishnamam Shah Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sahagana Raganaptam Mitam Tam Shrivam Savaduitam Savadutam Parijana Saritam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Naritam Shri Vishakam Mitam Shah Nam Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pishtaya Bhuttale Shrimante Bhakti Vikas Swami Namane Nam Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pishtaya Bhutale Shrimante Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharne Nivishesha Shunivari Pashkatada Satarne Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shilvaita Gadadhar Sivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Okay. He began to travel alone, thinking only of Krishna. Through various holy places like Ayodhya, Dwarka, and Mathura. He traveled where the air, hill, orchard, river, and lakes are all pure and sinless, and where the forms of the unlimited decorate the temples. Thus he performed the pilgrim's progress. Who's controlling the screen? Oh, it's offline. I'm going to send you a picture, and then you can just pull that up here. You've all probably seen this picture before, but it's a picture of Vidura quitting his house. I'm not sure if this is in this one exactly. I'm sure it is, but I didn't check because let me see here. It should be. Yeah, it's in this one. But you can. Yeah, but anyways, it's a really nice picture actually. I remember first. I think this is in the first canto also of the Bhagavatam. I sent it to you on WhatsApp. But it's a really nice picture because it's kind of like the what would you say? Anyways, I don't know literary devices, but it's like the what caused Vidura to so-called like leave. Not the cause in and of itself. We had the discussion a couple of days ago by Bhakti Vikas Maharaj that it was inspired. That Vidura was inspired by the internal energy of the Lord to leave and go and travel. But you can see the picture there that his bow is there and he left his quiver, and it looks like Duryodhana is like pointing his finger at him, like, you know, talking smack. And Vidura, you know, he's ready to go. Yeah, Dhritarashtra in the back hanging out. But it's actually it's an amazing. I mean, there's so many different amazing things in the Bhagavatam, but it's amazing actually, and it's relevant to us in a lot of different ways. So many different intricacies of this pastime. I was thinking this morning when I was chanting that you know, this also, there's a couple ways of like looking at it. But I mean, Vidura, of course, I mean, he was offering his advice. He wasn't biased in the sense of like, you know, he had something. Well, it's hard to like. He did have something against Duryodhana because Duryodhana was a demon, but he was, you know, it was for his benefit. You know, just like the mother or father may punish the child, but it's not that, you know, they're just seeking to just like give it to the child. Like, I just want to see you suffer. But Vidura, you know, even though senior and greater to Duryodhana, Duryodhana still disrespected him, even though Vidura shouldn't have been disrespected, just due to etiquette and everything. So anyway, sometimes like in life, these things can happen to us. But I'll kind of get back to that a little bit later. But this verse in particular stresses the point of Vidura beginning, I wouldn't say maybe, let me see here, but going on his travels. He's traveled alone thinking only of Krishna. And so that's important for us. You know, I mean, recently devotees went on pilgrimage, and devotees again will go on pilgrimage, and it's part of Krishna consciousness to go on pilgrimage, to visit different holy places, whether that be in India or where Srila Prabhupada performed his pastimes here in America or elsewhere in Europe and, you know, different countries. But when one is going on pilgrimage, the idea is to think of Krishna while one is going to his destinations. Not that when one gets to Ayodhya, then one starts thinking of Ram, and then in the intermedium between that, one is thinking of whatever. But the whole idea is to have one's mind absorbed in Krishna, and to think about Krishna, to chant about Krishna. So that's instructive for us. Also, because we see nowadays that many people, they may physically take their body to a holy place, but then their mind is completely somewhere else. You know, it's like they're in Vrindavan, but physically, but then they're mentally, you know, they may go to Vrindavan and they may go to the bazaar and think like, oh wow, like getting such a good deal on this, man, if I took this back to the States, like, you know, I'm paying 50 rupees for that, that's like $1, I could sell it in the gift shop for $10, and then just like they're in Vrindavan, but the whole time they're thinking about how they'll go back to America and make a lot of money. So that's not the process of going on pilgrimage. So Vidura actually shows that, you know. He left and that was it, you know. Like, as Guru Maharaj was saying the other day, which he made a lot of amazing points, was that, you know, one thing that really struck me was saying he didn't like check for like the auspicious muhurta or whatever. It was just like, it's like time to go. So sometimes life is like that actually. It's not, you can't really plan things or think so much about the situation. We're just kind of, you know, might be inspired by Krishna just to act in a certain way or be forced in a situation. But sometimes like that. So Vidura, he left immediately, and it was, you know, like that, and he didn't go back home and do this. He just left and went. And we can see also that when he went, that he was, of course, he's a pure devotee and everything, but there wasn't any regret on his part. Not that, you know, he renounced and later he got to Vrindavan and he was like, what have I done? Or whatever. Prabhupada tells a story of a man that he was very rich and he had a lot of money. I'm kind of paraphrasing it. And then somehow or other, like, he lost the money or gave up the money, and then he like died shortly after that because the shock of like being poor was like too much for him. He couldn't handle it. So those things like happen actually, that people, they try to renounce too quickly and then they snap or go crazy. So we don't see that with Vidura actually, you know, going from living in opulence to, you know, living in the kingdom and things like that, and then traveling around that, you know, he was having a nervous breakdown or something. But that he was able to focus on Krishna in his travels. And then also too, he going to these different holy places like Ayodhya, Dwarka, Mathura, in this way. So Vidura shows, how to travel, how to go to holy places, and the mindset that one should have. This and just another kind of point on that. But anyways, the timelining of this is, I know when Vidura, we'll read in a couple verses. I don't know exactly how long he was traveling for, but because it'll mention here, like in some other verses I was reading later, that, let me see here. I believe it mentions that, let me see. When he goes to, he'll travel to Prabhash, which is that's the place where the Yadu dynasty left. But he goes there, and then after that whole thing has happened, and he realized like all of his relatives have left. So he was gone for a while actually, because that whole thing happened with Duryodhana, and then there's the battle of Kurukshetra, and then I don't know the timelines of all that, but then I'm sure that was like some block of time. And he came back, I guess, shortly after Krishna left the planet, because Uddhava was there with Krishna. And then Maitreya came, and then they left, and then like that. Anyways, but he was gone for a while. Particularly in this purport, Srila Prabhupada stresses the point of the Archa form of the Lord. And he opens up the purport by explaining that, some people may consider it idols, atheists, as just an idol. And Prabhupada would speak about that very much often, that it's not an idol, that is not idol worship and thing. That's a famous contention. And that was also being spoken of recently, like an idol means something completely different. But the deity is the form of the Lord by which he accepts service. It's not just some imagination that somebody imagined something, or there's some imagination or some pictures or somebody's whatever. Somebody had a dream or something like that. The form of Krishna that are made in the temples are authorized by Shastra. There's particular devotees that they make the deities according to what it says in Shastra and things. I don't know the science, but there are people that do know that and all the details with that. And so there's different elements which are made with that. There's many, but like metal, paint, stone, things like that. And at least for us, we have Krishna Balaram, Radhashama Sundar, and Gaunitai, and then also Nishingadev and Panchatattva and the Guru Parampara. So this Vrindavan is the Vrindavan from, the altar from Vrindavan, and we can understand by this purport and so many other purports of Srila Prabhupada that Krishna is personally present there. It's not that there's like some there's no lacking that Krishna's there sometimes and not there, or he's kind of there, but he's going to be more there when there's deities because it's just pictures. It's a misconception actually. Sometimes, well, not sometimes, but a lot of the times, like when people come to visit, sometimes even devotees, they ask like if we have deities or whatever, and they're kind of like, oh, like there's just you just have pictures. Like it's something like, oh, they're just pictures. Oh, it's just pictures. But it's not just pictures. It's Krishna present. And Srila Prabhupada did this when he was on the planet. But it's that attitude is just due to a lack of knowledge. That people, they don't understand that Krishna is personally present there. And anyways, if one has that attitude, then Krishna will reciprocate personally with that individual. But anyways, on a day-to-day basis, we chant in front of Krishna Balaram. We offer flowers, we cook, we clean, everything we do for the pleasure of Krishna Balaram, and like that. And it's important to have that attitude and that understanding, and to serve Krishna with enthusiasm. Just like recently, Vishwachitra Prabhu, maybe not so recently, I think it was a long time ago, but anyways, Vishwachitra Prabhu was making the point that, we go out on Sankirtan or whatever, like we should come and offer our obeisances to the deity because we're doing everything for the deity's pleasure. And that it's one aspect of being Krishna conscious is to be conscious of Krishna. And so that helps. And then I remember years ago when I used to stay in San Diego, Sri Sri Radha Giridhari, that, we would go out on Sankirtan in the morning and things like that. But it was, at least for me, it was like there was a lot of focus centered around Shushi Radha Giridhari, and then going out, and then we would announce the scores in the morning. It's the same thing we do here, but I was new then. But that kind of like mood was there, that like, okay, we're going on Sankirtan and then coming back and taking darshan and then leaving like that. That was kind of, that whole mood was there. And it was ecstatic. And I mean, at least for me, but you know, places that where I like did Sankirtan for like an extended period of time and served for an extended period of time, there's like some remembrance of like the deities there and things like that. And traveling also. But at least for me, there's like, you know, Radha Girihari, and then also in Alashra, there's Radha Shamashundar, but Krishna Balaram's also there. It's the same kind of altar. And then also when I was on traveling Sankirtan at one point, towards the end, I had this Vrindavan altar like that on the, you know, whatever, taped up. So, but, and then anyways, there's other places too. But then it's like we kind of get into that mood of that, like, okay, that we're going out, and then, you know, it's more relishable. Then we're doing, instead of, you know, then the mood is there, and then the consciousness is there, and then that's helpful. Of course, we're you know, doing everything, of course, for the pleasure of the spiritual master, but then the spiritual master also teaches us to worship Krishna. So both things have to be there. And so it's Krishna's mercy that he takes these forms so that so that we can engage in service to him. It's not that Krishna needs our service. Srila Prabhupada would stress that so many times, but that he takes this form so that he can, so that we can render service unto him and he can accept it. It makes it easy for us. Prabhupada would joke sometimes about the universal form, the Virat Purusha, that you know, that if Krishna accepted that form, how would you dress him? You know, it's such a huge form. You know, you couldn't dress him like that. You know, I don't even know. There's no end to it. There's no beginning to it. We get a description of the universal form in the 11th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. You know, anyways, it's mind blowing. So you know, and then, but Srila Prabhupada would say that that's his mercy that we're able to engage in that service and offer flowers and worship in that way. Specifically here, Prabhupada gives the example of the post box, which is very simple to understand and very amazing, actually, because it really condenses the whole point. That a you know, whatever, a post box or a mailbox is, you know, there's so many mailboxes all over, you know, whatever the world, and if you put your mail in an authorized mailbox, then it goes to its destination. So similarly, and then of course we have the main post office, which is like the hub. But the system works, and it's set out by the government, and it's carried on. So similarly, it's the same thing, that the form and the temple of Krishna, it's authorized. So then, you know, just like if we offer prayers to Krishna here, or we offer service, it's being offered to Krishna directly, of course, through the agency of Guru and the Vaishnavas. But there's no difference. There are, like, obviously there's a difference between, at one level, well, we'll get to that. But at least in our stage, it seems like there's a difference between Krishna being on an altar and then Krishna playing in Vrindavan. But we see that some acharyas, that the form of the Lord manifested differently and different things happen. But but like, anyways, just a couple. This isn't particularly like a deity form, but then there's the mention in the Nectar Devotion of the Brahmana who was making sweet rice and meditating so much on worshiping of Krishna with you know, so much opulence. Then he makes this sweet rice, and then he goes to check and see what the temperature is, and then it burns his finger. And then he snaps out of meditation, and then Vishnu comes and delivers him. There's also the story in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is a very amazing story, actually. The story of Sakshi Gopal, of when I forget that. Anybody remember that devotee's name? I don't even know if his name is given. Yeah. The younger Brahmana, older Brahmana. Yeah. So the younger Brahmana, anyways, takes this man on pilgrimage, and he goes all around, and then somewhere on pilgrimage, he promises in front of the deity Sakshi Gopal that he'll give his daughter in charity. And then the Brahman makes the point that, like, don't make that promise because, like, I'm poor and this and that, and your family will object. And he said, no problem. I'll take care of it. So anyways, when they get back, the family's like, what the heck is this? Like, like you offered our daughter to, like, this poor, like, Brahmin. Like, this is, like, ridiculous. And so anyways, and it's, anyways, much can be said about that. But but anyway, so they're fried out. And then I think the wife says something like, I'm gonna commit suicide, and they start freaking out. And then the older brother's like, I'll take care of the situation, don't worry. So anyways, the Brahmin is like stressed out, he doesn't know what to do, and he's worried, and like he made this promise, but at the same time, in front of the deity, but at the same time his family is putting pressure on him. And he kind of more or less kind of goes with the what's it called, the older brother. So anyways, the younger Brahmin comes to honor, he's doing it out of, devotion. He's, you made your promise from the deity, so like we should keep that. He's not any particularly like interested in that Brahmin's daughter. And so anyway, so he's like kind of there talking. He's like, I don't really remember, because the son told him to say that. And then the son like jumps out of the house, I think with like a stick or something. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's mentioned datura, which is like this like intoxicant. Anyways, this whole class about Sahotra Maharaj, he kind of talks all about that. Anyways, I won't go into detail about that. But it's like some crazy intoxicant. They give that, I think, to people in like Africa and stuff. But it like makes you like a zombie. But anyway, so then he leaves, and then he goes back to where that deity was, and he tells the deity, the situation. And then the deity's like, okay, like, I'll come. The deity's actually talking with him. And then he's like, well, I'll come, but like, how will I come? And he's like, well, you can talk, so you can walk. And so Prabhupada kind of like jokes in that way. He's like, yeah, actually, you're right. He's like, okay, so I'll follow you, but like, if you look back, I'll stop. And so he hears like the little ankle bells of the deity coming up, Sakshi Gopal. So anyways, I don't know how far it is, but I'm pretty sure it's pretty far that they come. So then they come this long distance. And so then he stops hearing the ankle bells, and so he looks back to see, and then the deity stops. So then anyways, he goes to the village and tells everybody, and then all the residents come, and they see, oh wow, this happened. So anyways, Madhavendra Puri, I believe he heard that story of Sakshi Gopal, then that was told to, I believe, might be getting some things wrong. Was that right? Or was Nityananda Prabhu, he heard that story? Oh, okay. Okay.
He heard from Madhavendra.
I thought he heard
This is
from...
happening in Cuttack.
Yeah.
In Cuttack, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is having darshan of Sakshi Gopal.
Yeah.
And Nityananda Prabhu is relating the story.
Okay.
Because he's been there in the past.
Okay. Madhavendra Puri.
No.
Nityananda.
Prabhu.
Oh, okay.
He travels in the past.
Okay. Anyways, I thought maybe Madhavendra Puri Prabhu told him. Anyways, but so... It's a nice section, actually. Yeah. So, witness Gopal, Sakshi. And then also there's so many stories with Madhavendra Puri, but that famous one with the sweet rice, where the deity hides the sweet rice behind the altar. So anyways, if that were to happen, if we were to see a pot of sweet rice behind the altar, we'd probably think someone spaced out. Who left the sweet rice behind the altar last night? It would be on the ashram communication. Who spaced out? But the Pujari had the dream, so then he understood that nobody spaced out, that it was kept. So it's difficult nowadays. But he had the vision. He was given the blessings, and it's always amazing actually. And then Kirshora Gopinath involved another devotee in that whole thing, and God was able to allow him to see his reciprocation with his devotee. So we could see that too, that it's also Krishna's mercy if we're allowed to see that how Krishna is reciprocating with his devotee personally. We may not have like so much to do with that, but then if we're allowed to see that, that's also Krishna's mercy, because it may not be something so like blatant or easy to see, but then if a devotee is surrendering and then we're seeing Krishna reciprocate with them, that's very inspiring actually for our own Krishna consciousness. So that Pujari was able to see that, and then that sweet rice pot was given to Madhavendra Puri, and then you all got to taste that sweet rice, which hopefully one day I can taste that sweet rice also. So that I've heard about it, and I was looking forward to that day. It's going to be a long time probably. And then also too, there's on the same topic of so there's also, and I have it here by the mercy of Mitravan Prabhu, but there's also the instance of Srila Prabhupada talking with what was it? We had a whole discussion. Was it Dwarkadish? Dwarkanath. So before Rukmini Dwarkadish were installed, there was a little miniature Dwarkanath, which they worshipped in the what's the name of Los Angeles temple? New Dwarka. Okay, sorry, I spaced out there for a second. Oh man. Dwarka Deesh. What was it? Anyways, so stupid. But anyways, there's the history of Prabhupada having a conversation with Dwarkanath. Anyways, I'll read that here. So this is in a conversation from June 17th, 1977. So Srila Prabhupada says, I made my headquarters in Los Angeles. I took permanent residency. I did not like to come back. I would have stayed. That means Krishna desired. Otherwise, I had no plan to come back here. He's talking about India. My plan was like that, but Krishna's plan was different. When I was coming back, I was speaking to Dwarkanath. I did not know. I have come here. Why are you driving me away? While leaving Los Angeles, I was not happy, but he had this plan. Krishna wanted. You left Vrindavan. I'll give you a better place in Vrindavan. You were retired in Vrindavan. I obliged you to leave. Now you come back, I'll give you a better place. He has given it a temple hundreds times better than Los Angeles.
Whoa.
So I don't want to tell New Dwarka that. But there's a couple of things about that. I mean, there's so many things that could be said about that. But phone is spazzing out right now. So, one point is that Prabhupada was personally speaking with Krishna. And Krishna spoke back to Prabhupada. Prabhupada would relate that he was speaking to Krishna about this, having a conversation. So one of the points I'm making, so obviously these great pure devotees, when they go in front of Krishna, they're not seeing just some picture or just some form. Krishna is speaking with them personally and giving them instruction, and they're receiving inspiration. And of course, that's on the highest level, but the point is that Krishna is there to reciprocate with his devotee and interact with his devotee. And then there's so many stories, there's so many that can be told, and with the 6 Goswamis and like that. And there's a story, Prabhupada actually was crying when he told the story. I think it was Sanatan Goswami. He was making the chapatis for Madan Mohan. And he was making like some dry chapatis. And he would just say, the Madan Mohan was like, can you just like offer like a little bit of salt? Yeah. And he was like, this is all I have. And so Prabhupada was making the point that Krishna accepts the devotion. And when Prabhupada was telling that story, actually, he was crying. And Prabhupada was, his ecstasy was overflowing at that point. And so there's so many different histories and accounts of Krishna reciprocating with his devotees. So the point is that we shouldn't have this misconception and think that it's just some painting or it's the arch of form of the Lord and it's like there's like some lacking there. The only thing lacking is on our part. that when we go in front of Krishna, that we're not acting in such a way that Krishna wants to see us or whatever, or we're behaving like that Krishna's there like 25% or something like that. But like Krishna's 100% somewhere else. So Krishna's there 100%, but we have to practice Krishna consciousness, and we have to hear these things, and we have to develop that attitude. And that, whatever that, Krishna doesn't notice, like this and that, so it doesn't Krishna ain't going to say anything. It's like if we're in front of the spiritual master and whatever, we touch our mouth and don't wash it or something, he'll say, hey, your hand is moochy. But it's like, Krishna won't say anything. But it's like Krishna's not, saying anything because it's like, we are thinking that Krishna's not there, so he's reciprocating like in that way. But if we behave that if we act in such a way, and I've heard Bhakti Vikas Maharaj say this in lectures many times, but if we behave that Krishna is personally there, and we act in that way and we serve in that way, then we'll have that realization that Krishna will reciprocate with us, and that's and so we have to surrender, and just to kind of go back to that point, so it's important that that everything that we're doing, whatever our services are, that we're doing from the pleasure of the Guru, but similarly we're doing it for the pleasure of Krishna Balaram. Krishna Balaram is here, Radha Shyamsundar is here, Gunita is here. They have manifest themselves here. We could say different things. Whatever. This was the picture that we had, and then we just did like that. But then Krishna wanted to appear in this form so that we could worship him in this way. But the main thing is that we have to have the right attitude. And attitude is important in Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada stresses that in the beginning of the Nectar of Instruction, that one's advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude. And if you want elaboration on that, you can listen to these classes, the seminar that His Holiness Bhakti Vikas Maharaj gives on the introduction into Nectar of Instruction. So attitude is really important in Krishna consciousness. That's a whole topic in and of itself. But the main thing is that we have to, everything that we're doing, we should be doing for the pleasure of Hari Guru and Vaishnavas. As soon as we start thinking about our own self or, what we want to do, and then it's like selfish. And nobody likes selfish people. It's like a common thing. If someone's selfish, it's like, whatever. There's 10 devotees and then there's, 20 Golubjamans, but then one guy takes, 15 or something. That usually happens sometimes at temples. Like the offering comes out, there's 20 chapatis, and then someone comes and takes 10. It's like there's no consideration of there's other devotees in the temple or whatever. Yeah. And then you come, you're all fried out, who the heck did this? And then, don't put out those chapatis until, leave them in the back, and then we'll cut the brahmacharis will come and get them. But, sometimes these things happen at temples. There's different reasons for that. It's selfishness, but sometimes I think it's when you live in a temple and you're in a community, it's you kind of understand that there's other people in the community except just me. Sometimes it's we have the community, which is me, and then there's everybody else. So there's 2 people in the community. And then there's Krishna, of course, so there's 3. There's me, Krishna, and then the other people in the community. So, whatever. So anyways, I've seen that in temples, it's the Mahaprasadam comes out and then somebody just comes and takes the whole thing. Anyway, they used to do it too, so, but I would distribute it. Maybe they distribute it too. Yeah. So, anyways, what's the name of that temple? Is that Kunja Save?
Fisherman.
Yeah, but I think there's a name. Deva. Yeah. Thank you. Anyways, they had there was so much Mahaprasadam they had at that temple. I remember. Anyways, I used to go to raid that Potomac Mahaprasadam too. It's you go to these temples and there's 20 pieces of burfi, 10 rasgullas, 20 pieces of sandash, half a gallon of kheer, and then there's just a pujari because nobody comes into the temple, so it's just let's take this. So anyways, but if we have that selfish attitude and we think, there's I'm hungry. So anyways, but if we have the proper attitude, but the thing is that we have to have a full spectrum of Krishna consciousness, and then that's mentioned. And unfortunately, I don't know the Sanskrit, but I should know it. But that's the problem with the Kanishta Adhikari. He thinks that there's Krishna in the temple, Hare Krishna, and then that's it. And then there's devotees. But, devotees fry me out, and then there's karmis, and they're nice people, actually, because, they're very respectful, and they say, yes, sir, and thank you, no, thank you, and please, and, they change the oil on the car, and they take care of their cars, and then there's the guru, and, the guru is amazing, but then it's I don't really, anyways, I don't want to get so much on the misconceptions of the neophyte with the guru. Sometimes it's the guru is very amazing, and then if there's a disagreement with the guru, and it's I don't really know. Guru Maharaj chastised me, and it's I'm having some doubts now about his position. Some of these things happen actually. It's true. It happened with Srila Prabhupada and some of his disciples. But then anyways, so many things could be said about that. But that's the next. What is that? Prakrita Bhakta Smritaha. That is a materialistic devotee. So he doesn't know how to behave, and he doesn't know how to act. Or whatever, or they goes through extremes that all the devotees in temple, they're so amazing, Mahabhagavats, they're pure devotees, this and that, and then it's, don't criticize anybody, and then the other day flips to the other side, won't come to the temple, won't talk to the devotees, everything, and then back again, everybody's amazing, and then, then the karmis are all demons, and then they're not demons, they're nice people, then, that's the position, it's back and forth extremes, so much devotion for Krishna, bringing flowers every single day, and then just won't come to the temple for years. And then it's just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So anyways, but the spiritual master trains the disciple that, be fixed, hear from Shastra, understand, this is the position of Bhagavan, this is the position of Vaishnavas, these are karmis, they are innocent. Some of them are straight up demons, and so you avoid them, but some are innocent, so you give them Krishna consciousness. And then some are, they're a little bit disrespectful, but with a little preaching, they could be changed. And then some, they can't really be changed. So like that. So you behave accordingly. And so the spiritual master teaches us how to behave. Okay, the Vaishnavas are there. Okay, or whatever. And then we may have some doubt or something. Oh, this devotee said this and said that and did this. Okay, that's there. They're not all perfect, but you should see and understand that they're dedicating their life to Krishna. They're trying to, be full-time. They're trying to surrender. They're trying to give up everything for Krishna's pleasure. So you should see that also. Not you just see like this one thing here that, whatever. They slept in till 5 o'clock, so now it's like you're questioning like every single thing they ever said to you. So it's like, it's a little bit fanatical. And so it's, it's understood that, Srila Prabhupada would say that we're all in the shower. So we all, somebody is attached to this, somebody's attached to that. I'm attached to this, that other person may not have that attachment. I may not be attached to that or whatever. But it's, but the thing is that everybody's trying to surrender in Krishna consciousness and trying to give their life to Krishna. And so that should be seen. And all these other things we may be seeing, and then we have to discriminate. But at least with devotees that are sincerely trying to give their lives, we should give some leeway with that and appreciate their surrender and behave with them accordingly. And in that way. And then also, too, just kind of, we see with Vidura also, we're speaking a little bit about devotees and great devotees, how they see Krishna, and Krishna interacts with them personally. And also in our position that, we're seeing Krishna, but then, Krishna may not, talk to us. If we go up to Krishna, he may not say anything, or if we oversalt something or undersalt something, Krishna may not be like, you messed up or you spaced out or something like that. But, we're kind of in that position where we're trying to come up to that. And so we have the instruction of the spiritual master. But I was just thinking recently, but, that Bhakti Vikas Maharaj is here, but, and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur would say that. But, if you want to see the symptoms of a great pure devotee, you just look at my spiritual master. He was speaking specifically of Gaur-Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj. But with Bhakti Vikas Maharaj being here, and just he's engaged in, just being Krishna conscious. Really isn't anything, completely Krishna conscious. And just seeing that and just how he is, it's inspiring. And, when him chanting, or just whatever he does, it's very inspiring and very instructive. And just how to behave and how to act and how to see that this great devotee is how he's worshiping Krishna and how he's chanting and how he's inspiring and how he's enthusiastic to hear about the book distribution. I was talking with Vishwachitra Prabhu yesterday about that. But he's always fired up because he's in the fire. And so Prabhupada would anyway say like that. But that's, seeing that, it's like, that's inspiring me that that's where I would like to be like that, inspired and fired up in Krishna consciousness. And so obviously the way to do that is to listen to his instructions and follow his instructions. But that's and he quoted that verse about Vidura, but also that verse can be applied to Bhakti Vikas Maharaj with his Mahatmanas tumam prarta daivam prakatamashritaha, that these great devotees, they've taken shelter of the internal potency of the Lord. And so similarly, they're inspired in that way. So when these great devotees, when they chant or they speak or they talk, it's not an intellectual platform, like whatever. Like somebody may give Bhagavatam class and then they may be, with all this intellectual stuff. But the great devotees, they're inspired by the internal potency of the Lord. So everything they do is an act of devotion. They're inspired in that way. So when they chant, when they lead kirtan, when they jump up and down, when they instruct, when they speak, say do this, do that, whatever it is, they're inspired by Krishna, and so there's so much that could be said about that, but they're Krishna conscious fully, and so anyways we can see that and see what that's like to be Krishna conscious. And we also too, we have many other devotees that are coming also. So we other Vaishnavas that are also similarly dear to Guru Maharaj that are coming. And we have a good opportunity to associate with them, to hear from them, and to understand more about Krishna consciousness and how we can become more Krishna conscious. Because we can always become more Krishna conscious. We should definitely realize that. And so, anyways, there's so many different things that could be said about all these different things. But it's a good opportunity. Mukundata Prabhu's coming, and his wife, and then other devotees are also coming. And we're having a Sankirtan festival. So, and that's what life's about. It's a Sankirtan festival, and it's pure. We don't have to worry about Anyways, they do it, so we'll speak about it. But it's not like we're gonna get the mridanga, and then I'm gonna cut off my sleeves, and start working out, and then banging on it, and then grow out my hair and untie my sika. Anyways, if I untie my sika and grow my hair out, it won't look that good anyways. It just look like I had a bad hair day. But it's and then, start whipping out the fancy kurtas and then bring out the purple dhoti. It's like that. And then we got the gopi dance crew doing moves in front. It's like none of that's going to be there. And so it'll be a pure devotional atmosphere, and Krishna will appear there actually in the devotion of his great devotees that are here and coming, and also in the words. And I'll be super ecstatic. I always look forward to these little get-togethers we go.
This one is special.
Yeah. It was last one was good, but this one is way better. Yeah. So it's a Sankirtan festival, and that's what life's about actually. And then, there's Lord Chaitanya came down. What did he come down? To start the Sankirtan movement, to inaugurate that. And so we're having a Sankirtan festival. So then Lord Chaitanya will obviously be there. And Lord Chaitanya and his associates, they probably, I'm sure they want to come also. Why not, Huh?
He never left.
Yeah, they never left. They're here, there, and everywhere. Just like Lord Chaitanya in the, in the Rath Yatra, he manifested, he was dancing in the different parties. So Lord Chaitanya is engaged in this Sankirtan festival and that Sankirtan festival all over the universe, or all over the Brahmandas, wherever his great devotees are engaged in Sankirtan. So Lord Chaitanya is there. And of course, where Lord Chaitanya is, his associates are also there. So then it becomes ecstatic, to use ISKCON terminology. So it's amazing. And anyway, so many things can be said about that. And things will be said about that. Just to kind of wrap it up here and open up for questions. So to tie this in together, so Vidura is traveling, a pilgrim's progress. And so he's going to different places and holy places. And then soon he'll meet Uddhava. And he'll discuss Krishna consciousness. So the same thing eternally is going on. The great devotees are traveling. And and then great devotees are also there. The devotees are traveling to hear about Krishna, and the devotees they're traveling to speak about Krishna. And so this is Krishna consciousness, in short. So it happened thousands of years ago. It's happening now. It'll happen in the future. Thousands of years for eternity. This engaging in Krishna consciousness. So, anyways, I'll stop there. If there's any questions or comments about anything. So.
So this, one thing Srila Prabhupada, I was listening, there's this series of lectures of, is this on? What the heck?
Is that?
I don't know how to use it.
Yeah, sounds
Hare Krishna. I figured it out. Okay. So there's a series of lectures of Guru Maharaj called Deities and Pastimes.
Mm.
I don't know if you remember hearing them.
I might have heard that. Listen to it.
Yes, it's really sweet. I mean, and one of the things Guru Maharaj says is that Pishima, Prabhupada's sister, she had these Gonatai deities that she was worshipping, and she wanted to hand over the service to another devotee, and this devotee was like, I don't want to worship your Gonatai. You worship them in Vatsalya Rasa, and that's why the deities were so small.
Yeah.
He said, but I worship Gonita and Sakya Rasa. So, I would rather, I would want them to be bigger and all this, and you treat them like that. So she said, no problem. And she held both of them by the chin and pulled them up. Oh, and the deities grew in size.
Yeah.
Maharaj speaks about that in the lecture. Pishima, Prabhupada's sister. What? Yeah.
Never heard.
That's crazy. I know you haven't. There's many things you haven't heard before. But
Which lecture is?
this is deities and I can pull it up.
Share it. Share it.
I'll share it.
Everybody will wanna know. I like it.
Yeah, that is amazing. And there's so many far out things like that. And even Maharaj recalls how Radha Gokulananda, when he first joined, they were like super skinny. They were performing the pastimes of being super skinny, and they, and like and then Jaya
It's not that
Tirtha
they were
Prabhu.
skinny, but they were like
They
they became
they
more,
okay. I guess okay. I mean they were not. I guess okay. Anyway, so the new temple president came, Jaya Tirtha Prabhu.
became fat.
And then they fed them so many Mangalati sweets every morning. And every morning so many devotees would get. Otherwise, like you get this much semolina. That was like there was two sense gratification in Maharaj joined. The first sense gratification was, keeping your hand over the lamp in the morning. That was the only warmth you'll get the whole day. And then the other sense gratification was a little bit of halwa that you will get. But then when the new temple president joined, they fed the deities so much. And the deities became so... They became like, they put on so much weight that their old clothes wouldn't even fit them. And they had to get new clothes for the deities. And, you were talking about how, Maharaj, being there and like, it's not like really Krishna. I was thinking about this, when Vishnu Prabhu and myself were serving Maharaj. I was serving with him for the first time in North Carolina, in Praveen Govinda Prabhu's house. We would like sleep upstairs in some like motored out corner somewhere, And then like one day, in some gym area, I don't know why he has gym. Anyway, so like, we were sleeping in some random motored out place. And then, we were like, service was so much and we passed out really late at night. And it was like 4:15 and both of us were completely knocked down. Then Maharaj walks in, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. And he woke us up, like, oh my feet. We had to offer obeisance, but like that was freaky. But Maharaj was like, so kind, he didn't like chastise us or anything, like, all right, get to work, But it was really amazing. And I'm reading this section in the Bhaktisiddhanta Vaibhava called deity worship. So I thought it was very appropriate. So I just read a small section out. So Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says deities should be worshipped only after being installed. Only an acharya in direct touch with Godhead can install the deity. From his heart, he will install the Supreme Lord. Just as from Vasudeva's heart, Krishna appeared. Anyone can go to the market and buy a deity. We may respect that form, but that is not a properly installed deity. Self-manifested deities, Swayambhu, who have descended into this world, such as Keshava and Narayana, and deities installed by the acharyas are called Sri Vigraha. And then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, the way he would reveal the deities for everyone else to see is, there's much by like, by the performance of Sankirtan, by Harinam, and then the way he would actually do it, the prana, like he wouldn't do it like the prana pratisha, like, all these other, but the particular Gaudiya way. The way he would do this, he would keep tulsi leaves at the lotus feet of the Lord, and then, he would ask him, and like, fully manifest. That's how he would, he would bring them. No, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He would do that. And then one time, there's a really amazing event. Sridhar Maharaj not only assisted in making arrangement, there was an event in Assam, but when dressing the deities, he placed tulsi leaves on Krishna's lotus feet, considering that without doing so, decoration was incomplete. When Srila Saraswati Thakur saw this, he remarked that there was nothing left for him to do. For now, the deities were practically installed. Although Sridhar Maharaj had not perceived any hint of anger in Srila Saraswati Thakur's words, he felt that he had dissatisfied his Gurudev, so he immediately fell at his master's feet, begging forgiveness. Srila Saraswati Thakur raised him up, saying that for a Sharanagata, surrendered devotee, there is no possibility of committing offenses. So just so kind that's how he would install them. And when like his servant made that mistake, the devotee, like Vidura, there was not even a tinge of anger or anything in him. And for a Sharanagata devotee, there's no question of committing offenses. That's so amazing. Anyway. Vishnu Prabhu wants to make an announcement.
Well, I mean, since it's kind of related to this, Guru Maharaj has ordered us to have Shalagram
Oh,
That's right.
my
Worship.
Krishna.
begin Shalagram worship.
Don't get ideas, serious.
Yeah. So, and when we asked him,
Wow.
what Shalagram, there are many forms. There's different, Narsimha, there's Lakshmi Narayana, there's Matsya, there's Kurma. There's so many forms. As Guru Maharaj said, you pray and the Lord will reveal himself.
Pray for the Lord to reveal himself.
Thank you.
Bro, when we were in the Radha Damodar temple in Vrindavan, there was also that pastime. Was it Srila Sanatana Goswami who wanted to do parikrama around Govardhan Hill, but he couldn't do parikrama. And so the deity he was worshiping, or Lord Krishna, appeared, and with the Shalagram Shila and Shalagram Shila, and basically, and placed his lotus feet on the Shalagram Shila, and anyway, after that he was able just to do parikrama. Krishna.
Glad you clarified that.
And so then, anyway, he said that if specifically Sanatana Goswami would do parikrama, then it's equivalent to going around Govardhan Hill. But devotees do it too. I don't know if it's the same for us as it's Sanatana Goswami, but devotees do it anyway.
Do we follow in the footsteps?
Follow us. Huh?
Mukhara. Mukhara, wind. That's the name of the Shalagram.
Okay.
Because it's the tongue. It's the tongue of God.
Yeah, so that's nectar.
Yeah, thank you.
Hare Krishna. So Vidura, how does it work? Like he just because he was a Kshatriya, would they just renounce and go into the forest at the end of time and just meditate? Is that what they're supposed to do at the end of time? Like when they finish their duty?
It depends, but I mean the idea is that they absorb themselves in Krishna consciousness.
I'm sorry.
It depends, but the idea is that they absorb themselves in Krishna consciousness. So in his particular case, I mean, he went and got the association of a great devotee and, talked about Krishna and heard about Krishna. And then he came back to give instructions to Dhritarashtra. But I mean, we see there's other parts of the Bhagavatam. Dhruva Maharaj, he went to, I forget exactly where he went. I don't know if he went to Badrinath exactly, but he went to a place where there was sages and rishis. Prithu went to the forest or things like that. The idea is to give up one's material responsibilities and then just go to a secluded place and worship Krishna. So that may manifest differently according to the individual.
Okay, thank you.
So, yeah, you just.
Real quick, you made a point that we shouldn't approach the envious, but we should have compassion on the innocent.
Yeah.
I remember reading the 7th canto is in a purport, Prabhupada said that 99% of the world are godless demons.
Yeah.
So how can somebody who's a godless demon be innocent? I always wondered this.
Yeah. Well, Prabhupada also says in other places that most of the people are just misled, that their leaders are demoniac and they follow them so they're innocent. So he says different things in different places. So the thing to understand is that somebody, for instance, people may see us chanting on the street and walk away or be like, what is this? This is weird or whatever. And then we may talk to them and they be like, oh, I don't really want anything to do with this. But then we speak to them a little bit. They say, well, actually, this is interesting. Mm-hmm. So at first they may not be attracted or repulsed, but then when they hear a little bit, then they okay, this isn't so bad. So the thing is that someone that's envious, like a hardcore demon, it's they just want to destroy the Krishna conscious movement. They see devotees chanting and they want to, they want them to stop and thrown in jail, or they want, devotees distributing books to be thrown in jail and to stop, or devotees that are in the city, they want them thrown out, they want them out of the city, or they want to hurt devotees. So that's like that's like a demon. Other people are just like, they're demoniac, but it's just like whatever. They're just the blind following the blind, or leading the blind. What is that? Chaksharandasya Taguni Katas. Yeah. So that's it, in short. Yeah.
In this purport, in this verse, like Krishna says this, Asram Yunamapana Mudha Janmani Janmani, that, for people who are such demons, I cast them again and again into like more darker and darker species of demoniac life.
Yeah.
And I always wondered, wow, so what hope do they have? And in the purport of Shushushosha Dadanasya, Prabhupada writes that even for people like that only hope is the association with the devotees.
Yeah.
So even though 99% of the population is demoniac, still by the association of devotees, is that every devotee of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even a dust from the lotus feet, can deliver the entire world.
Yeah.
So even 99% is demoniac. Still, by the association of devotees, everything can change.
Yeah. There's also that, there's a couple things, but Jagai and Madai, for instance, it's like a pretty good example of like someone you probably want to avoid. But Nishananda Prabhu and Haridas Thakur delivered them. There's also too the instance of Rupanuga Prabhu was asking Srila Prabhupada, like, anyways, he's pretty much listing like all those like big demons, like what people call them? I don't know, people of like the New World Order, that thing like Rockefeller and stuff like that, J.P. Morgan or whatever. Like all like, whatever, the big like leaders of the world, like the bankers. And so he was like saying, like asking Prabhupada, are these people like, like the Rakshasas or demons like you're talking about or something? Prabhupada was like, yeah. And he's like, so like, what do we do? And Prabhupada was like, you preach to them. So it was like, so that was like Prabhupada's formula, like how Prabhu was saying. It's like you preach. Obviously, if we're telling someone that like Krishna is like God and chant Hare Krishna, and they're like, I'll never chant Hare Krishna, and they just like blaspheme Krishna, and we keep going, that's an offense to the holy name. So we have to have like a little bit of intelligence of like how to preach. And preaching like to atheistic people may not always mean like, like whatever, like giving them shiksha, but maybe giving them prasadam or something. Or like creating a situation that like they're comfortable and they appreciate devotees or something like that. Because it's like whatever. If there's like a nice garden, everybody will appreciate that. You know what I mean? Just things like that. It's like, because that's the level they're at. But of course, like we want to speak like straight Krishna conscious to people and distribute books and do Harinam. But then some people are just like too demoniac. They can't even like, whatever. It's like they hear Hare Krishna and they block their ears. So it's like, anyways, there's a couple different angles at that. Tata, yes.
Also, because Mr. Chaitanya Prabhu was speaking about the shalagram maybe coming.
Maybe.
Well, maybe. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know when. I don't know when. It's up to okay. When it appears,
It's already here.
When the shalagram Shila appears, it's going to liberate everybody like
In 14 miles.
in 14 miles, yeah. Radius, yeah. So everybody in the downtown Atlanta, like wherever, is getting blessed. Yeah.
Die within the 14 miles.
Oh, if they die at 14. Yeah, South Atlanta is a lot of shit.
If they die,
You hear them gunshots?
Some people have never left like this area their whole life.
They gonna get blessed.
A lot of old people too, like leave their body. Yeah,
Wow. It's true.
a lot of old people.
you have to leave the neighborhood to get to the nearest Walmart.
Walmart right there, right in the neighborhood. You don't have to go anywhere. That's in Walmart. Yeah, that's not for that's
That's within 14 miles deep.
just like enjoy like out there. Like that.
Something else from the,
I have an unrelated question, but I don't know if we have time for that.
I see.
Mataji?
Okay. Mataji's? Okay, I don't know. Guess not. All right.
So, we were speaking about Harinam and, things like that, Sankirtan, book distribution, demons. So, I recently saw a video of devotees preaching in a certain country. It actually came on the ISKCON news channel. And the devotee there was saying that they live in a country where noise is very much disliked. So much so that when kids have examinations, they change flight schedules because they don't like noise and they don't want to disturb the kids when they're writing their examinations. So the country dislikes noise to that extent. And so they had a very negative feedback when they were doing Harinam. This is in a country where it's a democratic country, so you're allowed to freely practice your religion. But there was they said they felt like negative feedback from people, and therefore they stopped public Harinam and they prefer to do it in more like in some kind of concert venue or something like that, where they get like a 5-10 minute slot, something like this in some events, and then they do some kirtan. In such a situation, is it acceptable for devotees to stop public Harinam, or should they go on nevertheless? Because it's the Yuga Dharma and the demons have to be changed anyways and their mentality has to be reformed, so let them hear the holy name. I mean, the government isn't technically going to stop you because it's a democratic country. So how do you, I'm just curious, the question came to my mind, so we were talking about demons, so I was kind of triggered that question in my mind again. So.
Yeah, I mean, say a couple of things. Well, just to preface my answer, I mean, I'm not there, obviously, so I don't know the situation. And, it's like one of those things that can go like either way. Like I can kind of see arguments on both sides. I would think like the first thing was maybe try to figure out a situation where like it's like possible to chant. I don't know if like devotees chant quietly or something, but it seems like the social like custom of that area is just like disturbance. Or, like,
if they change flight schedules, you can't. That's
seems
pretty
like
far
pretty
out.
crazy. Like when I heard that, I was like, okay, that's like a serious thing.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. I mean, part of it's like, well, if they're like frying on everybody, then it's like, and nobody likes it. But then it's like we don't like do Harinam to please the public. But then it's like. But then it seems like there's facility, like if they do it like in a venue or something, then like people will come and then they can kind of like
because it's a music venue.
They kind of take it like that. But it's hard to say. I would like if it was me, I would like experiment and obviously like try like doing it in public and then see kind of like how that goes after some time, or like whatever, consult with like senior devotees there or something like that. But generally, like it's always like a good idea to try to like follow like what Srila Prabhupada said about specific things and behave in that way, then like adjust accordingly. But I mean, I know like in India, for instance, like Prabhupada had his disciples like stop like Harinam at one point because the public misunderstood. And so
Not them as beggars.
Huh?
They consider them beggars.
Yeah, so there was like a and then we could say, well, like, like they would have been like pious and then like, whatever, that would have like created like Angatu Sukriti and like they would have appreciated, but it seemed like Prabhupada had like some different understanding that wasn't like conducive for like what he was trying to do at the time. So there may be like room for that. So anyways, there's like both kind of like ways. But like I said, it's with the flight thing, that definitely seems like, oh, that's like really serious.
That's ridiculous.
Because it's like when people start changing flights, then that's like like the airport is like the main thing like in a city generally. You start moving flights around. That means their priorities are pretty high about it, like being quiet. They're gonna move a flight. So anyways, but it has a couple things about that. Anything from Mataji's or? Okay, all right, that's it. Sri Bhagavatam ki. Jai. Prabhupada ki.
Jai.